Hello folks and welcome back. So I was given a list by actually several people who had pretty much the same questions as far as stuff they wanted to see in the next few videos. One of the biggest ones was how, as an established player, you can go from one map to another and actually get on the other map. That was going to be a very tricky video to do simply because it's very difficult to do it nowadays because of what a certain alliance is doing prior to the map being open. This goes back to my previous video when I said the Infinity Alliance is going to maps prior to their opening, securing as many planets as they can for the sole purpose of then moving their main accounts over and taking those planets over. Now, they don't do this with every single map. It would be obscenely expensive if they did, but they do it with enough of them that it deters other players from even trying, because they do it frequently. So I'm going to try to set something up to where I can do that, even if it's staged, to show how it's done. So stay tuned for that, and I'll do what I can in the coming weeks here. My guess is it's going to take maybe 1 to 2 weeks to stage it if necessary. If I can do it organically, that would be even better, but I highly doubt that I'll be able to. But I'll still give it a shot. Anyhow, onto this video here. This goes back to the capital ships and their shooting abilities, how far or the distance they can be away from other ships to take them out and still be safe. That's essentially what I'm going to show you here. So a lot of times you're faced with rolling up on say another individual's fodder, or you're searching their home map to see what you can find near the wormholes to maybe hinder their production or their ability to take over planets. One of the most effective ways you can do this is by going to their home maps or going to maps where you know they have a substantial presence, finding ships and assets that might be lying around and destroying them. But you see, you have a fundamental problem here. You can only bring one ship over to do this. So what ship should you do this with, and how should you do it? In truth, you really only have one option, and that one option is the Rabo. Now, yes, you can use a TIG, but TIG has a problem of being visible to everybody. That's going to immediately give you away. And you also don't have the protection of running over a planet that doesn't have a sensor on it. So your Rabo, I mean, you can use the other, invisible ships, the stealth ships if you want to, but the Rabo is really the only effective means of doing this. What you see here is I'm taking out the Aquin of certain alternate accounts, and later on in this video I'm going to be taking out fodder, or specifically Aquin of Fort's account. Well, we call him Fort for short, but he's the leader of Infinity. He's really the big ringleader behind all this stuff as far as the inability to get on other maps. Him and Joe, they're both at the top there. They're both kind of orchestrating all this. That's another story for another time. But the account that you see here that I'm taking out, this is an alternate account of probably Fort more than it is Joe, but still it's an account that shouldn't exist and is on a map that it shouldn't be on. So what we're doing is we're taking out as much as we can. So you really only have one way of doing this. What you have to do is you have to go up as close as you can to the particular ships. Find the furthest point away in the middle of the ship group. So look at the ship group, look at the outer edges. Then at those outer edges, look at the coordinates at the top right-hand side of your screen where the XY axis is, and remember where you see that at. So what you're going to do is you're going to hover your mouse over that ship on the furthest at the edge, and you're going to count over 12. Now, sometimes it works with 11, sometimes it works with 12. It's not precise, and that can be kind of irritating. But you'll end up doing it by essentially feeling it out. Once you do it over and over and over again, you'll get pretty darn good at it too. Now, be prepared to lose plenty of ships until you get the hang of this, because it's kind of a learning curve. If you can practice on some inactive players and find maybe a ship or two that they've got hanging around, go for it. If you want to practice, go ahead and practice with the Braum. That also has a weapons range of 12. But anyhow, as I was saying, go ahead and start in the middle of the edge of the ship group and count out 12. Now, once you've got your position stationed, quickly click on the edge of the ship group that you want to attack. Then relatively quickly, go back to where you just were when you counted out 12. click there a couple times. Now, once you learn how to do this correctly and efficiently, you'll learn the way the ships move and how it responds to your click, because I would assume it's different for everybody, the response times. But once you get the hang of it, you'll be able to time it in such a way that you're exactly 12 paces away, where your target ship has a maximum range of 11. So your Rabo is essentially out of range of your target ships, and they can completely take out your target ships without a shot being fired off. You can do a lot of damage to an enemy like this. You can also really irritate them and piss them off. I mean, I've had it done to me plenty of times. I'll never forget one time I actually had 129 groups on a map. This was years ago. There was a bug where you could just keep sending ships to a map that you had, and I don't know what caused the bug. It doesn't work anymore. I don't know what caused the bug or what even ended the bug, but we just kept sending ship after ship after ship till eventually you get an error message that was thrown back saying you can't send anymore, even though you were 120 over your limit for the map. Like I said, I can't explain it. It makes no sense. And it's been years since it's been duplicated. I really don't think it can be done anymore. Believe me, I've tried. So it can't be done. But anyhow, I had ships over there that were somewhere 10 range, somewhere in a range of 11. So I had an individual who I talked to him afterwards because I found him on Discord. But he went over there with a Rabo and he just took out everything that he saw. But he did it by going outside of the weapons range. And you can do it too. And like I said, it will completely irritate the person that you're doing to, the player that you're doing to. So just be prepared that chances are there's going to be some retaliation. Just make sure that you can contend with it. But that's essentially how you do this. Just as a quick run through once again, what you do is you find the massive ships or ship group that you want to take out. You want to choose a Rabo because it's A, invisible, and B, because it has the longest weapon range of all the ships, and C, quite honestly, because you can get it out pretty quickly if you ever needed to. Now, when you're just learning how to do this, you're going to suffer a lot of damage to your ship, so it's also good to have one with a lot of shielding or armor, whatever you want to call it. And your Rabo is going to provide you that. So like I was saying, just go up to your ship group, count out 12 paces from the furthest individual group in the mass of ships that you see there that you want to take out. Then you click on the particular ship group that you want to start shooting at. Quickly click out 12 paces. And just as you see here in three or four different instances, I did this a few times just to get the footage of it. But as you can see here, I'm outside of the weapons range of everything that's being used here, or everything that's just sitting there. The only time I will say about watching out when doing this is when there is a detect ship in the middle of it or somewhere in it. If you're not paying attention and you get too close to it, you'll set it off. And of course, everything will start firing at it if you're not far enough away. But you can also use that detect ship as an advantage. That detector ship, it also has a range of 12 and it will light you up like a Christmas tree. What you can do without even clicking on the enemy ship that you want to take out, or the group that you want to start taking out to take out the whole mass, is you can quickly get 12 paces away from your detector ship. It'll automatically light you up. And then you can quickly click that 12 paces away from the last ship in the group. I do it all the time. And once you get the hang of it, it's actually much quicker than trying to click on the actual group itself. So that's just a little tip or trick for today. If you want to go around to your enemies' maps, look for their fodder, check around their home bases. Sometimes we'll set up a queue, they'll go offline, and their queue will still be there. The ships will still be there because they didn't bother to set a 15-hour resource production, or they'll just go offline. A lot of times the ships end up being there, and if you need to take them out for whatever reason, you can go ahead and do that, and you can do that without any damage to yourself, especially if you do it over and over and get really good at it. But you can eventually do it without having any damage to yourself whatsoever, and because you're using a Rabo, you can just pop it on one of the corners of the map, or what's even better, this is what I personally do. I find a planet that doesn't have a detector on it, be it an enemy planet or just some random planet of an inactive player. I put that Rabo over one of the enemy planets that doesn't have a detector, and 9 chances out of 10, they're not going to think to search using their, at least in a grid pattern, they're not going to think about searching with a detector over their own planets. 99% of the time they just search the outer edges of the map, which, you know, I do all the time. Actually, I'll do a video on that soon. If you've got somebody attacking you on your home planet or your home map with this method, I'll show you don't get me wrong, it takes a little bit, but I'll show you an effective way to grid off your entire map and search every inch of it. You just got to set aside some time to do it and pull over a good amount of fuel, because it'll take a little while and it will get expensive in fuel. But if you've got one of these pesky people doing what I'm doing to this guy here, this is another alternate account actually, but if you got someone doing this to you, I'll show you how to grid off your map so you can find them and take them out, at least as efficiently as possible. So anyhow, that about wraps this up. If you have any questions, comments, just put them down in the comment section. I will get back to you. If you want to see anything in specific, let me know, and I'll be happy to do a video on it. Like I said earlier, they're one of the most commonly asked for videos is getting onto a new map. I truly don't see how I'm going to be able to do it organically, like I was saying earlier, but I will do my best to do that. What I'll do is I'll find a brand new map, I'll get on it as soon as it opens, and hope that a certain group doesn't go there and pre-take planets, because that ruins the game and it keeps new people from joining and older people from advancing. So there's not a whole lot I can do there to put a stop to it. We've been able to help mitigate it in some capacity, but we obviously can't put a full stop to it. So anyhow, thank you for watching my video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And like I said, leave anything you want to see down in the comments. Thank you, my friends, and take care.